trying to get clarification on going forward with the event center project. At the June 10th board meeting, you guys stated that you were motioning it to look into estimates for an event center at the Trantina Farm. And at the open space meeting that I went to on 6/19, you stated that the board had approved the motion to go ahead with the event center. So I need clarification on which is it. Are you just looking into estimates, or is there approval from the board from that last meeting to go ahead with this project?
Well, I don't think either of your statements were according to the agenda and what was approved. I thought that the motion at the last meeting was to, and I don't have that agenda here with me, but I thought that was to reach out to professionals to see if there were grant opportunities and things like that. There's been no monetary amount approved, contrary to what you said, Deanne, about event center, $1 million. Nothing has been approved. They're basically, is my understanding, they're still exploring whether this is feasible and whether there would be funding available through grants and things like that.
At the open space meeting, you had said that this would have to be put into a special meeting and that would be posted.
I don't recall.
I did report the meeting, so it said that, what you had said was.
What are you saying this? You're saying that I said this would have to go to a special
Yeah,
meeting?
this would have to go before a special
What
meeting.
is this?
This would be the Trantina Farm project for the event center.
If any final decisions were ever made?
Yes, that there would have to be a special meeting.
I don't know all the procedure.
Is there a date for a special meeting?
There's not, it's not even close to the place that you're
But
talking
it would
about,
be-
as
it
I
would be
said.
posted if you do, correct?
I'm sure that is, the board would have to move forward and make approvals and figure out funding. There's going to be proposals. I mean, this is very, very premature. This is just still
We're just in
very,
the beginning stages.
very much so in the exploratory. The committee is just trying to find out if it's even feasible and some associated costs, whether there's grants available. That's what they had asked. It's my understanding permission was to interview professional services to see if they had some ideas for grant funding and different things like that. That's all I'm aware of.
Okay, so right now.
Okay, well, I don't, I'm not going to have a debate or discussions where you're going to continue. This isn't a public
No, I
hearing or
have
anything,
another
so.
question on another topic.
Okay.
Okay, so I need also, sorry that Karen's not here to answer this as well, but the last two board meetings, you guys had discussed glitch with the Veterans with Disabilities exemption. Could you clarify that for me? Because I happen to be a family that partakes in that, and when I called Will County to ask them, because Karen in the last meeting said this was a Will County issue and a glitch on their part, they have no knowledge of this. So
I can't speak for Karen or the Will County, but I can tell you what was told to me and what some of the residents have contacted us and thanked Karen's office for their assistance. The county did have some sort of an error that caused the veterans assessment to be an error. And it was discovered on the local level, and the county did rectify it. That's what I've been told. That's what the residents told me as well. But again, the thing about it is you don't have to be limited, all of you. You're not limited to coming to meetings and asking questions under public comment. All of us answer our phones, have emails, would be happy to meet with any of you as well. So she's not here this evening, but I would suggest that you just reach right out to her in her office, and I'm sure she can give you more information. Then I would like to go on to, is it Chris? Momo?
Disregard.
Okay. So you don't wish to speak. And then John Fleming.
I received another resignation from the Parks Board this week. Is there going to be someone replacing that individual? Will that be posted?
I'm working with the other committee members right now to get the committee back to full strength. I would imagine by next month.
That position or that?
I mean, right now they'll all be appointed. I mean, I'll bring in recommendations. They'll have to be appointed by the board because we're mid thing now, so it's not like.
Again, yeah, they're not the village, but the village post when they have an opening for positions, and I'm just wondering if you can. And then I'm back to
Our ordinance posts in the beginning of the term because they're 4-year terms, and then our ordinance has different procedures when vacancies occur throughout the term.
And then going back to the event center, again, I know you guys, I hope you have looked at some sort of number you have in your mind, but I would hope a feasibility study is going to be done, number one. And number two, I would hope that you kind of survey the community, the township and the village. And then finally, who's going to pay for that? I mean, I don't know what type of community center you plan on building for $1 million. That's what's in your open space fund. But that's going to be an awfully small community event center. So I don't know, I know it's going to cost more than $1 million. I put on there $1 million if you read, obviously, but that's what's in your open space fund? Is this going to require an additional tax? Are the taxes going to be increased because of this? And
I don't know about your $1 million or what you put on something or whatever, I'm not aware.
You referenced it earlier.
No, Dan had mentioned something about $1 million event center, yes, in the post, just in the beginning here. I don't know what you've posted, but again, as you mentioned, I'm assuming that because there's $1 million or less than $1 million in open space, you're assuming that. We don't have all of the answers. I will tell you this though. I'm sure there will be plenty, if it gets to that stage, I'm sure there will be plenty of public opportunities for input. What we have been told by some members of the public right now, including our senior citizens who have come to the senior committee meetings, this is the largest building that we have for community activities. And even the village of
5 o'clock, so we can't attend it. Some people can, I can't. The minutes from those meetings are very limited. They really don't tell us. Other than that, other than coming to this meeting and reading your minutes, we don't know anything. So forgive me if I'm asking questions that may have been asked at the previous meeting. I don't know how many people, you said somewhere between 100 people, and how big is this going to be?
They're trying to get a facility that is, they would love it to be between 100 and 300 people.
Who's there? I'm sorry, who's there?
The committee and the community that have asked, we do not have, as I said earlier, this is the largest building that we have for community activities. So even when we have community events and stuff, we've rented tents, which has been very expensive. There is an interest. There has been expressed interest. And again, don't ask me to forgive you. You're certainly welcome to ask us any questions. And John, you email me a lot. You certainly are welcome to phone me. I'm happy to try and fill in where the minutes or where things are missing to try and give you as much information. Or any of our trustees, please feel free to reach out to any of us. You don't have to wait until once a month. We can definitely talk and try and give you as much information as we can. I'd like to move on to Steve Belich.
Yeah, when you talk about the stuff with the grant, the lady from the county didn't come, she was supposed to show up, but I got all the emails and all the conversations that we had. Me and Mr. Frizzalone hopefully got it straightened out, but we don't know for sure. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. As far as the event center, I did some research on it. You're allowed to tax 0.05% for maintenance and people, whatever, and management. So now 0.05% means it's about $20 per 100,000 assessed value. So it's going to cost everybody, if you decide, you don't have to, it says may, the statute says may. So that means that it could cost somewhere between 50, 60 bucks on people's tax. Maybe not under your leadership, but with this board, but the next board, or the next board, they can do it because it's in the state statute. My attorney pulled up the statutes for me. And you can go all the way up to 0.1%. So if it's 0.1%, you're looking at about 100 bucks. And you guys said, at the last meeting, Mr. Fian said, it's for profit. And that's why you're doing junk in the trunk. I watched the video, I put it up all over, everyone can see it. It says, he said it's for profit. That's what he said.
Well,
Okay?
I'm gonna
That
let you
means
finish. I don't wanna interrupt
it's
you.
direct competition with existing businesses here. And I didn't know we went to a socialist township, or a communist township for that matter. What's going on is you're saying that we're gonna be competing with Purple Onion for a funeral, or Blueberry Hill for a shower, or Denoples for a wedding. You know, that's not what the township's supposed to do. It's wrong for government to compete with private enterprise, especially around here. Our businesses here, they're doing okay, but they're not doing gangbusters. They don't need any more competition. You know, so you're gonna hear a lot of screaming from me because I do not like this. I do not like getting taxed, whether it be today or next month or in 5 years or in 10 years, because the tax is allowed by state statute. And unless somebody changes it, it says may. So that means at any given time, anybody can do it. So I'll just go on the premise that I believe you guys, you wouldn't tax us. How about next year, when you get a new board, 3 years from now? Are some of them people gonna want it? I believe they'll be good. But then you go to the next group. At what point is it one of these groups from the township gonna go, I'm gonna do the tax? Because they can't. So that's one of the main reasons that this is bad for our community. We're already paying through the nose to the state of Illinois, everything they turn around, gas. We're gonna have a progressive tax probably. All our property taxes are going up, and we don't need to have another tax.
Well, I would just say this, nobody has talked about the tax, and just because you can tax people, there's a million statutes that allow you to build community centers and tax people, but they do also require usually referendum, or there are guidelines and stuff.
It's a 0.5, wait a minute, I got the statutes, it's 0.5% automatic, and if you want to go up to 0.1, then you have to have your board call a town meeting.
Steve, I didn't interrupt you now.
Oh, you're saying something, you're skewing the
Well,
truth.
you were skewing things and I didn't.
I said
interrupt.
facts. And you
Steve,
just
I'm
tried
going
to
to ask
skew.
you to be in order, please. Now, yelling over me, trying not to hear what I have to say, isn't going to make your points any more valid. You've said them, they're on the tape, people can make their mind up. I just want to be able to try and explain some of the points that you have made that I don't necessarily agree with. And again, all along, the goal is not to add a tax or to do anything, and I do believe, and this is an open space, and I do believe that there are statutes that would require any of those types of spending limits that are not available to probably go to referendum or all different things. But again, that's for another day because this is all still exploratory. It's not a competition. I don't know about what Tom said for profit, but you can't turn a public entity into a for-profit entity, and we are a public entity who provides services to our residents. We do currently do something very similar to what you mentioned. This town hall is currently used for bridal showers and baby showers and other functions besides the not-for-profits. So I guess you could say that we're already competing with the Purple Onion, if that's what you're saying. But I will say that we do try to keep those rates very reasonable. They do pay for the extra electricity and air conditioning and different repairs and things that need to be done. And there are some residents that would not be able to have these functions if they couldn't find an affordable venue to do it. So that is why we do what we do. And again, we are trying to listen to everybody, and I thank you for your input. Now I would like to go on to Maureen.
Just to kind of beat a dead horse, let's talk about the Tarantino Farm Event Center. I personally don't think it's necessary. I personally don't want it. This is my opinion. The thing is, I've talked to a lot of people, and there seem to be a lot of people with the same sentiment as I. What how do we decide if it's actually gonna happen? Can we put it on a referendum? Do we have to put it on a referendum? Can you guys just decide, how does this go?
Well, I mean, it would depend again on what type of a center, again, this is still very much early and exploratory. It may not happen. It may not be feasible. It may not be cost, effective. I think that is one of the reasons why the committee had talked about, as they have done with other open space. Open space is not currently on your property tax bill right now. It's not receiving tax dollars. So they've always tried to find, the township has always tried to find revenue sources, for example, the farm leases, rental, leases, things like that, to keep them off of your tax bill. And I believe the conversation in committee was that it would be possible to do some events to try and cover the cost of the building. Again, the goal is to not assess a tax. So I would say that once there is some clear direction, clear pricing, some approvals from the board, I mean, we're a long way from that because there's not really been any real proposals brought to the board. And again, feasibility, whether it be professionally prepared or whatever, I think the committee is trying to look at the feasibility. We do have other organizations in our community, like the Art Guild and different ones that really don't have a facility to be able to do things in the community. And they do try to use the high school and the public schools, but they are assessed a fee, an unaffordable fee for them. And a lot of times they're just not available. For the rooms and the places are just not available for these types of organizations. It has been brought to the board's attention and committees that we do provide sports facilities for not-for-profit organizations so that the kids can enjoy and do participate in things. Why not be open to places with the seniors and where other types of groups and stuff can do? So that is what we're doing. We're exploring, and we have kept it open. We have kept it on all the agendas. We've had discussion. Does that answer as much as I can answer you? I don't know.
No, because I just want to know ultimately, okay, let's say everything got approved, everything's beautiful, everything's wonderful. Who gets the ultimate say-so in whether we go ahead with this?
Well,
Does this go to the residents of the township, or does it just the board decide? Who decides?
Well, I think it just depends on whether we're using existing funds, whether we're able to put something together and using existing funds, and then that would be like any expenditure that the board works with existing funds. We prepare a budget every year. We try to take input from the community, and they're put in open meetings, and some of you are saying, stuff. Who knows? Maybe there will be a public hearing. Maybe it just depends on what the plans are and if it actually goes forward. All right.
Can I ask one more quick question? The junk in the trunk event, does that have to follow the 90% Homer Township resident requirement like every other group in town when we want to use something?
Well, the junk in the trunk event is not it is a fundraiser. So we don't have a 90% requirement on fundraisers. Just like we never required everybody from Home Fest or so there you go. All right, let's move on.